Yo guys, it's Mike from Chess Lifestyle, and here we are training 52 minutes, and as always, I have forgotten to set a timer. So I'll go do this now. But actually, for today's video, I wanted to share with you something that happened yesterday, and I was honestly debating whether I should make a proper video out of this as opposed to a stream. But to be honest, I mean, the topic's a bit of a touchy area that I feel a bit vulnerable about even. So it felt maybe more fitting to discuss it on a stream where the regulars can listen to this as opposed to I don't know, just any old person on YouTube, right? But yeah, let me share my screen and I'll explain. So basically, if you remember last stream, I was in quite high spirits because I had recently reached a new peak, which was this 2600 in bullet. And as you can see, my bullet is currently all the way down at 2458. So what ended up happening, as you can imagine, going by the state of this graph, I reached 2600 and I tilted 150 points in a single evening. And yeah, this is of course a really terrible thing, because I mean, I have students, right? I have chess students who, I'm constantly trying to give good advice and also, lead a good example to these students. And this is something that I've even developed measures to try and prevent me from making such disastrous decisions, right? For instance, I uploaded this YouTube video a while back on my top 10 insights to reach 2500 online as a non-title player. And as you can see on the right here, I mean, literally the first 3 points would have addressed this ridiculous tilt that I had this one day. Which was, first 4 points actually. I mean, this third and fourth point are particularly important, which is number 3, is it a positive or negative day? And I knew going into playing Bullet, I wasn't in the right headspace. I mean, I lost the first 6 games, just instantly, pretty much. I think I even had a bit of lag, which I even understood at that point, and then I kept playing anyway, which is even more stupid. But this fourth one really would have saved me, which is this Kai's damage control method, which is, if I skip forward in the video, it's as simple as this. If you gain 25 points, you stop. If you lose 25 points, you stop. And if you have a minus day, you're allowed to try and fight back to get back to your a positive gain. And as soon as you reach back into the positive for that day, then you have to stop as well, because you've kind of recovered a bad day. But if you get lower than minus 25, you have to within yourself stop. It's kind of like some kind of gambling control, almost, this kind of mentality, like stop loss. And yeah, I didn't do this, right? And the reason why is because I haven't been I guess my form has generally been very good, I guess in recent months or weeks or days or whatever. So you kind of forget how bad it can be. And also at some point I remember I must have dropped 50 points or something, and I just stopped caring. This was the problem. I just completely stopped caring. I just kept playing, and I just didn't care anymore. I just hated it. And this is the most stupid thing ever. Imagine wasting your time, just using your brain and not gaining anything from it, and not even enjoying the experience, right? It's just so ridiculous. I mean, it's an addiction, right? At that point, yeah. So yeah, I a funny story about this is I actually tilted a bunch, and the funny thing that would happen was I would tilt down to I don't know, 25 or something, and then I would take a break. I would play again, regain up to 2550, and then keep playing and drop 50 points and get down to 2500, and then I'd take a break, and then I'd play more, gain up to 2525, and then keep playing and drop down to 2475. And I basically did this all the way until 2450, and because I'm getting more and more tired as this goes on. And the funny thing about this was I actually have a habit. Well, this is super autistic. There's no other way to put it. But as you can see with my ratings, when there is no arrow, like no green arrow or no red arrow, it gives me some kind of like comfort in the sense that like it's like grayed out and I'm not going to touch it. It's kind of like it's on standby kind of thing, right? So I put some effort yesterday into making sure my rating of 2455 was a grayed out rating, so I could be like, okay, I'm done with this. It was a perfect number. I've lost exactly 150 rating points. I can just not play any more bullets. I reached this peak of 2600. I can be proud of this, and I just start working on some different things, which I want to get onto in a sec. But I wake up the next morning, and I see frickin' Lee Chess has given me some bonus rating for an opponent violating terms and conditions, terms of services, I mean. And I look at my Lee Chess account, and lo and behold, my rating is no longer grayed out. So I was just like, fuck's sake, like, are you actually kidding me that all of that effort to grey out my rating? Because what does a grey out rating mean? It means that like your rating has no progress over 12 games. So it's just like, it's completely meaningless, right? But it makes me satisfied, right? So basically, I play a game. I decide like, okay, I need to grey out the rating for my own sanity. And I decide to play. And luckily, the first bullet game I play, I managed to choke. I managed to choke this position. Like my hand literally wouldn't move. I literally had this ending, and I couldn't checkmate in time, and I drew. But by drawing, I actually managed to grey out the rating immediately, and then I saved myself, I don't know, however many hours. It probably just take like half an hour or something to grey it out. But yeah, the point being, I managed to grey it out again and cut ties with it. But yeah, it's really bad that I think like, I can have spells like this, and I think it like is also a factor when it comes to like being a strong chess player. I mean, being able to keep your emotions in check and not just like have these extremely horrendous tilts is important. And yeah, like when I think about getting stronger as well, like I've got some ambitions that I want to keep up with, but it like yesterday I was so like miserable with chess and everything due to this. I was even getting tempted by this shogi championship, which I found out about like yesterday as well. And basically, the European Shogi Championships are taking place in Warsaw in Poland. And there's this like online tournament to kind of like prepare for it. And I mean, there are even some prizes that like, can even give you full conditions. You can see here like subsidy for traveling, 300 euros, like some really nice prizes. And I was thinking like, maybe it's time to just accept that I'm a completely capped player, not necessarily in my skill, but in terms of my mentality and in terms of my confidence, in terms of all of these factors, right? And I should just go back to shogi. And I woke up today and I was like, Michael, you idiot, like, don't do this. You've already tried it once before. You came crawling back to chess, just like all of these players that like quit chess for a while. I mean, Magnus as well, like, he's playing in the Bundesliga this week. It's not like he's given up on chess. Like, he'll keep crawling back no matter how pissed he is with the game, right? And it's true, like basically I'm really deep in the world of chess. Like, I'm a chess coach. I make content for chess. I'm making a chess course for Chessable. I play this game all the time. Like, and so many of my friends are chess players, right? Like, I am so deep in the chess world that there is no digging myself out of it. And when I did dig myself out of it for 6 months and actually achieve it, after all of that effort and months of planning to get myself out of chess, when I took a long break from chess, I still came back. After all of this, right? So basically, I need to stop having these, derailing thoughts of like, just living a happy life and enjoying shogi and just retiring from chess, because I have some prophecies to fill. And basically, this chap over here, Damien Lemos, I'm working with him for my latest Chessable course. And basically, this guy's given me a lot of confidence to believe a bit more in myself in terms of like my ability. And as far as Damien's concerned, he feels like, I have definitely enough like natural ability as well as experience, like I've really lost like 1,000 different ways, the right drive, all of the qualities to make a player of FIDE master or higher. This is what Damien says, and it's not even like he's saying like maybe it's like he's really confident, which of course I still don't have clearly, but it's kind of like I need to stick with it. I need to persevere. And what I am very proud of is, despite having this horrendous tilt, as you can see, on the day where I played 120 bullet games and lost 150 points and absolutely hated chess, I continued my ritual of doing at least one puzzle storm a day and solving as many puzzles as I played bullet games, right? Which was absolutely grueling. I mean, I absolutely despise solving puzzles for my life. I swear to God, like, I've had times this past week solving puzzles and wanting to quit chess because I'm like, I hate this so much, right? But I've set myself this routine to follow this work, and I'm going to follow it. And even if I'm having a terrible day, I'm going to follow it. And I am proud of this. That means, like, I am going to be able to keep it going, and I'm not going to just completely, like, just chuck the laptop away and just give up, right? Like, I'm not giving up. So this is really promising. And one more thing in terms of, like, the grind is that actually, like, a few days ago, I recently got back in touch with a former coach. Basically, I've asked a very specific service from him. I'll leave him anonymous for now. But basically, like, the service I want is not to have like weekly or monthly lessons. What I want him to do is I want him to prepare 2 to 3 to 4 calculation exercises that are tailored to me, based on my weaknesses, based on my strengths. And what we'll do is he'll send me the exercises. I have a week to complete these exercises. I will write down my full in-depth answers, either like send it on a voice note or send it in text. And basically every Wednesday we will review all of the exercises, just in not even in a lesson format. Just he'll send me the feedback by voice note or something, just to critique my thought process as well as my answer. And the plan is I'm going to do this every single week. This is the first week. And I mean, I'm paying him for the service. He's committed. And that means I have to be committed because, if I'm paying, then, I'm going to do it. I'm not going to just pay him and not do it. Like, what's the point in that, right? So basically, I've got some kind of like habits that I'm forcing myself to do. And I think as a result, that means, I can't quit. Like, I whether I have all the doubts in the world, I cannot quit. I have to just keep going because I've got all of these, like, systems set up to force me to keep working, right? So, yeah, basically, I'm calculating these exercises, and I'm really looking forward to this because I think calculation is such a huge aspect of doing well in classical chess. And what I've also done today is actually make some tangible plans to play in the summer. And when I get back to the UK, I'll have maybe like a solid month where I can play some tournaments. And I've made like a brief plan for this, and I think it's going to be really good. Like I'll be playing with my friend Sven, who's I really like playing tournaments with this guy, and we'll play some tournaments and it'll be good, and I can imagine, if I've really put in the amount of work that I've put in these last 12 days, and I maintain this, and I don't allow myself to quit, and I don't allow myself to just, jump ship and join shogi or something, like some drastic life change, then I have to, it has to be a success. I mean, how much of a success I don't know, but I don't think like I need to have fears of like, let's say, losing my 2000. I mean, it still can still happen, right? But it's like, if I put in this work and I'm a stronger player, I think like it'll be fine. And the thing is, the nice thing as well with like classical chess, I mean, it's not as easy to, let's say, just drop 150 rating points, because the worst case scenario is that you tilt, you lose a single game, and you might, let's say, like, I don't know, tilt for a whole tournament, but every day that you tilt, I mean, you have another day that you have a chance of recovering. Whereas, let's say, like online chess, if you really don't have any kind of controls, then you can just completely fall off the rails, and it's very easy to click one more game, like some gambling addict, right? So I think, even though I have this like, emotional problem with this, I don't think it's completely detrimental to my potential. And the other thing is that there are even strong players, like for instance, Hao Yifan, that, she's the top female player ever. Well, maybe Judith Polgar is one up on her. But I don't know if you guys heard of this, but this was in Gibraltar 2017, where in the final round, she was extremely tilted and frustrated. And she just completely threw a FIDE game, and just played and just resigned at this moment. To be honest, if I was going to throw a game, I would play the move h4 here and just allow the fool's mate. I think this would be way more impactful. I don't know what she's doing with d3. I mean, this just shows the level of like, complete utter tilt. I think this is like a move where it's like you don't even know what you're doing. You're just playing something random because you're so angry. You're so tilted, right? And yeah, she resigned, and this was like, of course on purpose. Like, you don't blunder this as a 2600 GM. But her reasoning for this was because for the first 8 rounds of the tournament, 7 out of 8 of her rounds, she had been paired against girls. And she thought that, the pairings were being rigged. But it turns out that, the pairings were not rigged, and the arbiters could prove with Swiss manager that the pairings were not rigged. And yeah, she just had to apologize and said what she did was stupid. And as you can see, I mean, yeah, this is one game. This is like a complete disaster to have happened. But it's also just one game. So I think, and people don't disrespect Hao Yifan, and she's not any less of a player because of this one game. But it shows that, people can have these emotional weaknesses, and it can really mess up your chess. So basically, I am disappointed in myself for being able to relapse like this. I think the best way to compare it is kind of like some like gambling addiction. I mean, luckily, chess elo, especially like online bullet, is like as meaningless, relatively speaking, compared to, let's say, actual money. Like if I had a gambling addiction, I was able to just like, throw all my money down the drain because I'm having one impulsive evening where I failed to check in with myself, right? Like this would be a problem. This would be a serious problem where I need to get help. At least the consequences of this aren't too bad. And I mean, I'm even looking at it from a more optimistic perspective that now that I've grayed out my bullet rating, I'm not going to have this urge to, let's say, push for 2700. Because I've already pushed for 2600, I've already reached this peak where I can tell myself that I legitimately grinded to 2600, and I legitimately peaked at 2600. I didn't just, wait for my K factor to become very high, play like 4 games, make 2600, and then move on and, camp at 2600 or something like that. No, like I properly grinded to 2600, and at least for a couple of days, I was a legitimate 2600 player, right? So I'm still proud of that, and I don't think that was something I was able to do 1 year ago. So that definitely shows that certain aspects of my chess have improved. I don't think it's just, let's say, bullet skills. But yeah, the good news is that at least I'm so low rated compared to what I was that I'm not going to, let's say, push for 2700, and that means I can focus more on blitz and rapid. And I mean, today actually I played a rapid game that I'm not going to show on stream because I actually want to use it for some of my students, but it was so insightful and so interesting that it actually inspired and elevated my mood, which is exactly what chess should be about. It shouldn't be about like I don't know, just trying to flag your opponents, right? There's more to the game, and it's not just about chess drama as well. It's like real beauty, and this rapid game was real beauty, like from the analysis that I made of it. So, yeah, basically, it did something terrible. The name of the stream isn't clickbait, but I think like at least I'm really proud of like my recovery and attitude today, because I think if I had this situation like maybe 3-4 years ago, I think I would have absolutely been pissed. I would have probably, I don't know, like been like hovering over the delete my Lichess account kind of like level of pissed, and like just, be completely and utterly distraught for like several days even. So I think like, this is a sign of maturity, and the most important thing is to keep going. Like, as you can see, I kept up with the training puzzles. I kept up with my routine, my daily routine, which I've stuck on the side of my wardrobe. And yeah, I'm going to keep this going, because no matter what happens to the results, as long as I keep this work up, this has to pay off. This has to pay off. And I felt it already. I've really felt the difference in strength this past 2 weeks. So I just gotta keep it going, basically. So yeah, that's my rant. I'm glad I could get that out of my system, and also maybe this will be useful for you guys from a chess perspective as well, and a competitive perspective. Okay, so Arjun asked, what opening did you play before you became positional against e4? To be honest, I started positional against e4. I used to play the French defense. I first played one e5, just as a beginner. Very quickly switched to the French. I then played the French for many, many years, like 5 years, and in a very positional manner, like strategical way. Then I gave up on the French because I couldn't defend to save my life. And then I switched to Sicilian, and I was playing like... I started off with the Dragon, didn't work for me. I switched to Kalashnikov. Then I found out that the Sveshnikov exists, and honestly, the Sveshnikov is like cookies compared to Kalashnikov, which is potatoes, which is one of my favorite quotes from my friend Nicola. So this was a funny one. So yeah, I switched to Sveshnikov. I then switched to Karakan, and then I switched back to Sicilian Sveshnikov, and now I'm at Gerganitsa. So that's the whole journey. So yeah, lots and lots of reflection, lots and lots of experience to get to where I am. How much chess improvement would you say is talent / hard work? Improvement, it's mostly hard work. I mean, talent is basically going to get you to where you, I guess, reach your plateau. And then hard work is what's going to bring you past that. I mean, there will be cases where your talent isn't unlocked. I mean, the first person that comes to mind is like Caius, right? My friend and neighbor in Loughborough, who... as a junior, he joined like, all of these other like kind of group lessons. And I don't think he was anything special. Like, I think like, he was just one of the average kids. He didn't really get into chess. He kind of like quit for a while. And it's only more recently did he have this like real like boom in terms of like level. And I think the talent was always there. It just wasn't unlocked. So I think in terms of chess improvement, if you have some hidden talent that can be unlocked, then that can see a lot of improvement. But to be honest, I think it's mostly hard work. I think as a person, I've got by on talent in a lot of things, and chess is not one of those things. And I don't think I'm necessarily completely untalented. I just think to actually get stronger, hard work is so important. Like that calculation training you do, and not just like, not doing it, that's the difference. That's really the difference. And if you're willing to put in the work, it will pay off. I'm a real believer of this. Yeah, I mean, you always have those exceptions where you get some people who are extremely talented who don't need to put in as much hard work, and they make it seem possible that you can do all this amazing stuff. But, okay, for the majority of us, even the talented ones, it's not that you need to put in the hard work, is what I'm saying. What is your rating? Oh, I see. Yeah, my rating's online. I won't even look at my bullet rating now, but my FIDE is 2000, and yeah, I have goals to just get stronger and prove my worth and make some gains, even more gains. And yeah, you're in like August. August is going to be an exciting month because I'll probably play like 2, maybe even 3 tournaments in August. And this is what I recommend is like, you know, if you can have a month where you really train hard, you play a bunch of events, you know, I'm going to be a 2000 rating for all of that. And fingers crossed, if I'm actually underrated here and I'm playing stronger than 2000, then I'm going to get some maximized gains, right? Because I'll be gaining on the 2000 as opposed to, let's say if I, you know, gain 100 points, then the next 100 is going to be even harder because the gain as a 2100 is harder to gain as a 2000. So to try and cram in your events in 1 month and make a big leap, this is definitely like the way to do it. But we'll see. If I can keep up this like daily work for 6 months, then you know we should be in a good place. And on that note, let's actually do some training. So let's what should we do actually? Maybe I should do some hard puzzles. Yeah, let's start off another puzzle cycle. Let's do these advanced motifs. I think actually we only got up to intermezzo, and I think we're due some quiet move exercise. So let's do 3 of these, and then we'll move on to the next topic. Don't tell Danny King about his Kalashnikov slander. Yeah, I know Danny King's a big Kalashnikov fan. My real problem with Kalashnikov was I know Danny King advocates for the bishop e7 lines, and I used to really like the b5 lines instead. And the problem with the b5 lines is it's a lot of fun, but there is this one line which this very famous 2600 Grandmaster book by Negi. Negi basically refuted this line, and it's so annoying because there's no way you can avoid it, and if the opponent knows it, you're just experiencing a miserable game, which is why people don't really play the b5 Kalashnikov anymore, and they play this bishop e7 one, but it's bishop e7 is definitely more dull in its character. So more Kalashnikov slander. Who's the highest rated person you defeat online? I believe I beat like a 2780 or something. You can check my bullet profile. I think that was the highest I beat. And when we say beat online, I'm talking about like rated games. Like I mean, I've beaten Artis Nixons, who's like, I don't know, 2900. But this was in an unrated game, so I don't really count it. You know, like he wasn't, you know, trying his absolute best, probably. But yeah, okay, let's go. Let's actually work. 3, 5, 6, 7, 1, 3, 5. Okay, so we're a bishop for 2 pawns down. And we need a plan. Now, we do have the hint that... Oh, let's make this rated. Why is it on unrated? We do have the hint that it's a quiet move. But without that, let's try and think. So basically, White's king is very weak. Also, welcome James to the stream. I don't think I've seen you on the stream before, so nice to see you here. But yeah. So we've got 2 pawns for a bishop. We've got an attack. They've got an attack, of course. They don't have an immediate threat. Rook takes g7 is obviously very close to being a disaster. I mean, they're threatening then rook g8 or even queen g8. So, but we do have a move in hand. I don't think they've got like a forcing sequence that kills us. So, given that, yeah, we have room for quiet moves. But what kind of moves can we consider here? So I want to play for checkmate. That's the goal of this calculation. So what candidate moves? We've got rook f7 check. Maybe queen b4 is a threat to come to queen d2, which blunders the queen. So let's not do that. How else can we try and bring in our pieces? Queen takes b3 should probably be looked at, even though it probably doesn't work. Rook c3 to try and hit b3, although it is defended by the queen on e6. Honestly, in a game like, okay, in a bullet game, I would play rook c2 and think. Rook c2 and then just think after. But, yeah, I don't even know what candidate moves to consider here. Hey, let's think of all of our moves. Let's not miss out anything. So, any of the pawn moves don't make sense. Can this rook on f8 join somehow? I really don't see how. Because I don't even think, like, let's say a move like rook a8 is necessary, because there's no need to defend this pawn. Like, if we play rook c2, they can't take the pawn because of mate, right? So, rook a8 feels way too slow. So what about these rook moves? Rook f5, I mean, they can't take this way, but they can take any other way. So we've got, like, rook c3, rook c2, rook c1, I think just blunders a rook. And then we've got queen a5, queen b4. Maybe queen b5 trying to enter this way? But surely we don't have a time. I mean, you know, they can take here and we're already in trouble. So really, I think rook c2 is like the only move. I mean, let's calculate this first and then we see. So rook c2. So king a1 or king b1 is necessary. If king b1... I would think that rook b2 is useful, but maybe it's not. Maybe the king just goes here or something. And then we have a similar problem to deal with as this move. And I was thinking on king a1, maybe the idea is to play queen c5 and try and enter queen c3 and give checkmate this way. So rook c2, king b1. Do we play rook b2 or do we play queen c5? Probably queen c5. Rook c2, king b1. I mean, to be honest, like from a human perspective, like from a real game perspective, which is what we're trying to do, we can play rook c2, because we know that either one of these moves is going to be played, and now that one of them has been played, we can think again. I mean, if it's forced, it's forced. So okay, candidate moves here. We've got rook b2. a2 looks a bit too sus, but probably worth looking at just in case. So rook b2, also queen c5, queen b4 as well. Queen b4 loses the rook. And then we go queen c3 check. Maybe we've got some perpetual ideas, but we don't want to give that up. Like, especially if queen b4 doesn't bring anything that queen c5 doesn't. So, okay. Is there any advantage of playing rook b2 in a sense? If king here, then we can do this, but then they can block, right? So maybe queen c5 is very important here. Queen c5. Yeah, how do I deal with this? Queen c5. If they take on b7, on g7, do we actually have a win here? Probably, right? I think we can play a2. And then on king a1, then we can give this checkmate. Even if we didn't have queen c3, I think, yeah, no, queen c3 is necessary actually. So I think this is just winning. I think this is just winning. Yeah, so they give up the queen and we can just take this. Nice. Okay. You saw the Negi e4 book? I would have got that one if not for the Gwaine book being available. I think the Negi one, it's really good. It's really good, but it's so... I mean, Negi is... This book is basically like an approach to, you know, an absolute diehard 1e4 player that wants to play objectively the best thing against everything, no matter how impractical it is. And the thing is, yeah, the lines are very good, the analysis is very good, but it's like, yeah, to keep that up for all of the different positions that can arise from 1e4 is absolutely insane. And I think unless you've got an eidetic memory, it's probably not the best way to go, is what I would say. But yeah, it does have some very, very cool lines. Yeah. Any GMs? Yeah, I've beaten GMs online. I mean, yeah, Artis is a GM as well when I shared that story. Yeah, Rook C5, I think that was Queen C5, right? Queen C5 was the move. Jan asks, what did you do? Yeah, I spent the first 20 minutes of the stream discussing it, so I'll let you. I won't give any spoilers. You can watch and weep. But okay, I think on the whole, it's more of like a positive. I have a positive outlook about it, which is the important thing, I think. Yeah, Rook C2 trust. Yeah, exactly. Okay, let's do one more. Okay, so king and 1,000 pawns against a rook. What to do? So in this position, our goal should be to promote, because if we promote, then we should have enough material remaining to win. Probably. So my intuition would definitely be to say king e6, try and assist this g-pawn. Any other move really doesn't make any sense. So I think king e6 is forced. Like, I would be really surprised. We're in check. We have to move the king somewhere. We need to assist this pawn. This is our biggest hope. So we play king e6. And at this moment, okay, now there are some different options, because maybe assisting the pawn is useful. Maybe pushing the pawn is useful. My instinct here would be to push, because, I mean, this is like the most threatening. I mean, this, maybe they give you a check and you block your pawn and it's just inefficient, right? So I think pushing the pawn is the instinct here. The nice thing as well is that if they play rook here and I play here, and they like move the king and I promote and they take and I take, these pawns should hold their own. Like if king here, I can push. No, I can't. They can take. Oh my god. What am I talking about? So my pawns need to be like this, and when black plays this, I play this. And that's where the king cannot take my pawns. Right, so am I able to gain that time? If I push the pawn, they come back and I play this, and they play this. Can I actually play this? Yes, because if they come here, I can push. I think that's gonna be it. I think it's gonna be this. I come here, and when I come here, I need to push. I think that's gonna be the move. If they give me a check, I can always play king g6, and then I cover both these squares. And again, even if they come here and I queen, and they give me a check, and I come here and they take my queen, I take back. Again, my pawns are such that whichever one they go for, I can create this formation, which is winning for me. And then I can bring my king over. So I think this is winning. Are there any other candidate moves I need to consider except for this one? Any check, I can come forward. Any king move, I promote. I cover this square. So I think that's it. We play this, and then we have to play this. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. And now we need to do this, because this is the formation that's going to win. Let's go. I'm gonna make the room a bit hotter. It's a bit cold. 1 second. But yeah, this kind of confidence in the pawn endgame, I think this is definitely Dvoretsky to thank for this. Like, I really put in some hard work on Dvoretsky like several years ago. And these kind of motifs are still kind of ingrained in me. So yeah, this is something you should do if you want to improve your ability at these endgames. Okay. So, what on earth is going on here? Queen, rook, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we're 3 pawns down. They've got bishop pair against our knight pair. Okay, so their king is definitely weak. I mean, we've got a bishop controlling some dark squares around the king. We also have a queen on an open file. Our king is a bit vulnerable to back rank, so we need to be careful. There's a lot of tension, let's say, between these knights, even like some tension with the queens. The first instinct I have is to play rook f1, because if I can bring a queen down to f7, I mean, this looks very promising. Yeah, so rook f1 is like my first instinct, but yeah, we need to consider some candidates here. I mean, probably like my ambition is to checkmate, I think, like given how weak this king is. So rook f1, any other moves that contribute towards that plan? Oh, the very nice thing as well is that rook f8 I can even take, right? There's this motif where I checkmate with the rook. So rook f1, yeah, probably rook f1 is very strong. Let's calculate. So rook f1, what candidate moves do they have? We've got a big threat of this and this, right? So if maybe they can push, that's one candidate move. Anything else? Yeah, I don't even see any other moves except for e5. So okay, if they push e5, do we have a follow-up? Push e5. I mean, I'm looking at this idea of taking on c6 to attack the bishop. Maybe that could be an idea. Yeah, they're definitely not in time to do anything on this knight. So if they play this and I play this, yeah, they can't take it. I hit the bishop, and where will the bishop go? The thing is, I've only won one pawn. I'm 3 pawns down in the starting position. Rook f1. Let me push e5. I'm really not seeing any moves. So let's try and push harder, find more moves that we're not considering. So rook f1, if they pushed e5, can our bishop make any moves that help? I don't see. If they push e5, what about this knight? Except for trying to distract it this way, can we distract it any other way? The block, I mean, they just take it, right? I don't see what we've really done. I mean, we could also start with this move, but they don't have to take, right? They can just move their bishop. And I don't see how this changes anything. God, I don't see it. Rook f1, e5. Also, Arjun, your question of earlier, like, talent versus hard work, I would say that for myself, I don't think I've got any hidden talents yet to uncover. I think at this point I've pretty much uncovered all there is to uncover, but I think there is still potential. I think there is potential, so that's the good news. But yeah, I think with you, like personally, I would say that there's definitely chance that there could be uncovered potential, because I mean, I think it's still very early days in like your kind of career and like experience of chess. Like, I mean, in like chess years, I think like I'm an old ancient man compared to you. So I think like there's more hope in that sense. But not that you necessarily need us as well. Like, as I said, like, you know, the hard work will pay off. And it's like for me, you know, like if I'm unable to find this, I'm just not gonna get positions where I need to deal with this kind of crap. Where I'm finding like some open F-file attack on the king. It's like not entirely necessary. I didn't see it. Rook f1, e5, the only idea I have is knight takes c6, in which they cannot take the knight. And where will they put the bishop? Let's say they put the bishop on d6. I guess actually dislodging this bishop might be important, because if it comes to d6, then I have a new square to enter on, which is queen f6. And if they stay on this diagonal, then, well, firstly I've got that. So maybe that's the point. Yeah, and if they come away from this diagonal, oh, that's so interesting. So this bishop needs to stay on the square, so knight c6 is actually stronger. So, okay, is there any difference between these two moves? My fear is that maybe if I start with a knight, maybe black could play a move like bishop f8 before I have the time to, like, enter, you know? Or even take, you know? So I think rook f1 definitely makes more sense before playing this kind of move. Yeah, and then this moment was queen f6. This was the key point, and this is why it's so important to calculate, because if you just assume that it doesn't achieve anything to make this bishop move, well, then you're not going to find it, right? But actually, by forcing yourself to look at where it is and what happens in the position, then you can find, oh my god, that's a scary check. Oh my god. I made an effort in the starting position to make sure that I'd considered all of black's checks, but I didn't realize that when the bishop moves, then there's these problems. For everyone asking, like, what did I do based on the title, watch the first 20 minutes of the stream, because that will give it a much better explanation. But yeah, I think you'll find it interesting to hear like the about the situation as well as how I'm like dealing with it. So yeah, I think it's worth the watch. I probably will watch it again myself. Like I think it's like really like it's a really good mindset to have about it, and it's like something I need to keep reminding myself in case I ever go down a similar path again. Okay, let's deal with this. So, bishop takes g2, big surprise. My instinct is not to take the bishop and just play king g1, but I should actually calculate. So, the more I look at king g1, the less I like it, just on the basis that knight takes e2 as well as bishop c5 are both checks. Also, welcome Fritz to the stream, and welcome Tricky, if I didn't say welcome to Tricky. And welcome to Jan. Okay, I didn't welcome anyone, clearly. But yeah, welcome, guys. Yeah, so king takes g2. Obviously, my fear with this one was queen takes e2 check. So, which is the lesser of two evils? I mean, one of them needs to be working. God, I really hate the idea of king g1 and knight takes e2. Because here I'm actually either playing king f2 or king takes g2, and both of these moves run into a discovered check, which I really want to just be lazy and assume that it's terrible. So let's calculate king takes g2 first, because king takes g2, queen takes e2 check. Can we just put the king somewhere that avoids all checks? Maybe king takes g2, queen takes e2, we just go back king h1. Yeah, man, no more checks. That looks a lot more reasonable. Yeah. Yep, that looks completely good. I think we can be happy there. Nice. Okay, so yeah, probably should have looked out for these checks, and this is actually one of the things that I think playing a lot of classical helps iron out this mistake, because when you don't look out for checks within a variation, you really get burnt in classical. So this is why it's so important to keep up some classical work. But okay, we did 3 of those. That's very good. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, X-ray attack. From 38 to 52, soon it will be an hour. Well, what are you talking about, Frizz? Like the stream? Oh, yeah, like we started off at 38 minutes. I completely forgot. That's actually crazy when you think about it. Like, I don't know, when did I start doing these daily streams? It can't have been like more than like a year or 2, right? Maybe a year and a half since I started like doing daily streams. Like this concept. Probably it's been like a year, right? So, yeah, training time, exactly, yeah. Yeah, that's some nice gains. Oh, okay, this one I just kind of saw very quickly. X-ray attack, I mean, this is the X-ray, right? Rook takes, and then we just skew over queen. I'm pretty sure that's going to be it, because if the king moves, then we just pick up the queen, and then we're material up. So this is where doing a lot of these like puzzles and even bullet and puzzle rush, like it's all paying off, I think. Yeah, so we can go for that. Very nice. Why was this one so easy compared to the others? Like I get +1 for this. What's going on? Okay, this one again. Okay, well, it's something, clearly the difficulty level is not normal, because I mean this is just checkmate in 2, right? I'm not tripping. Okay, so let's refresh the page or something. Clearly something is bugged. I mean, let's do this and then let's do this. Let's see if that works. Okay, so back to 2500 puzzles. Here from day 1, you guys are you're my day 1 tricky. That's nice. That's nice. You know, I still remember my first subscriber on Chess Lifestyle. I will never forget. I will never forget my first subscriber. So, you know, yeah, these things matter. Yep, queen e8, easy tactic. Exactly. Good job, guys. Okay, so let's hope this one's a bit harder. Queen, rook, rook, bishop. Queen, rook, rook, bishop. 4 pawns, 4 pawns. So there's a lot of pressure on g6. We've got some X-ray pressure on the rook over here. And given that it's an X-ray tactic, that might be relevant. I guess you can say there's X-rays on this king. Any hanging pieces? I remember, I always forget to look at hanging pieces when evaluating a position. Yeah, this is hanging. Maybe this is hanging in some ways. Oh, what was the term? I was reading it in Rowson's book, and I think Kasparov like mentioned it in this way. He basically critiqued his opponent's move. I think it was a game Kasparov-Shirov, and he said Shirov's move was bad because it like indirectly hangs the piece. Like it's like white played the move rook here, and he like Kasparov just said it's indirectly hanging, so this is bad. He used some fancy term for it, which I quite liked, but I don't remember. But yeah, I've been reading more of Rowson's book, some really interesting insights. Okay, so what's our goal in this position? I mean, probably our goal is to deal with the pressure on g6, as well as maybe try and exploit some of the tension we have, like this rook on d1, maybe even the exposed rook on e6. So candidate moves. I'm suddenly seeing a very forced sequence of rook takes, queen check. They can't block except for queen f1, which might be significant. But if they were to play king h2, then I've got queen h1. And then there's some potential. I've got another check. This move would be a disaster because of queen h2 mate, so king here would be forced. Yeah. Close to working. A very long line. And as we know, long variation, wrong variation. But also an exchange down. And the other factor to mention is that in this position, they have queen f1 to block. So that's a little bit annoying. I'm wondering if we can actually change the move order slightly. What if we play this queen check first? I realize I'm basically calculating before candidate moves, which is a very bad idea, but we kind of got inspired. I think it's okay to follow your inspiration. They cannot block on d1 without hanging on d1. So this looks very promising. If king here, then this looks more promising with an extra rook involved as well. We can give check, they have to come here. And where's the win? I don't need a mate, I just need a win. Ooh, we can even... No, we don't have that move. We don't have this because there's still a rook here. Ooh, queen? No. The queen is still on c2, so I can't take this anymore. What's the... There must be a win here somewhere. Rook takes d3, rook takes d3, queen a1, king h2, queen h1, king g3. Queen g2 check, king f4. Oh, we've got g5 check, maybe. Oh god, this is so difficult for some reason. Oh, why can't I see? Why can't I see the win? Rotates, queen check, king here, check, king g3. Maybe after king f4, we want to play rook f8. Maybe that's a good check. Rook f8, either king e5 or king e3. Maybe on king e3. Oh, it's so annoying. It feels... I was thinking like rook f3 check, but then they've even got king d4. I don't see it. So, okay. Well, okay. We have definitely gone too deep. We should have looked at our candidate moves to begin with. So what candidate moves do we have? Rook takes d3 is a candidate, obviously. And... what else? I'm still looking at this damn line. I can't get it off my mind. Yeah, what other candidate moves do we have? Got rook takes d3. I mean, what threat do they even have? I mean, rook takes g6 looks scary. Bishop takes g6 looks scary. God. Rook d3 has to be right. Rook d3, queen a1 looks so promising. King h2. Queen h1, king g3. Queen g2, king f4. Just don't see it. Somehow I feel like after king f4, I feel like g5 is like somehow working, but I just can't visualize it. g5 check, and they go king e3. I feel like they snake away somehow. Ah, oh, God. And this is the problem with calculating in the wrong order, because then you're like kind of like so fixated on this one line, you can't even bring yourself to go back and consider your candidate moves properly. I don't even know what else to look for in this position. But like moves like, let's say, rook d4 should have been considered as well. I mean, trying to take laterally like that. Nah, I feel so good about this line. Has to be that. Has to be that. Check. There's probably like one really obvious detail that I'm just completely overlooking. Let's not forget that we can also rook d3, give the check first, give the check here, now take, and now have some kind of winning position like queen g2. And something here. Maybe queen f2 now? This would be forced actually. I didn't see it. I didn't see it. I mean, this is why I really avoid this chess. It's so stupid. Maybe we give check here? And the worst thing is about this position, I don't even know what we're playing for. Are we playing for a draw? Like, would we be happy with a perpetual? It's like, this is why you need to evaluate a position properly, because I'm just calculating lines and just hoping I get lucky and find a checkmate or something. It's just so poor. It's so poor. I mean, I don't really see any alternatives. I mean, that's another reason to play a move, right? Like, if you don't have any legit candidates. Really trying to look hard to see if there are any random moves that come to mind. No, let's go for it. And this, I think, is important. Yeah, and this, you know what? This in the back of my mind was a consideration. I thought maybe they'll just give up the game like this, like a chess engine would, not appreciating the difficulty of the human trying to play this out. So let's actually calculate from here. If king h2 before looking at the engine, what does chat say? Oh, we've been going for 11 months. Frizz says I've been here from day 8. Nice. First up is not yourself. The first up was not myself. The first up was actually a friend of mine who I guess I was like talking to quite a lot back then, and I told her the idea that like I wanted to make a YouTube channel, and I don't know if I convinced myself or she convinced me, but I decided to do it, and she was my first subscriber. So yeah, big up, big up. Um, what else are people saying? Do you think I can get into English chess championships? So the English championships are in May. You need to have a minimum rating of 2000 ECF or FIDE. What's your ECF now, Arav? I mean, that would basically be a big factor. I mean, if you're saying, can I ever get into it in my lifetime? Then of course you can. But whether you can get it by May, that's another question. I mean, in terms of strength, like, probably I would have to be a bit of a hater and say that, like, I think I need to see more. I think I need to see more, like in terms of ability to find good moves, I think you've got it. But in terms of actual, like, chess strength to be a 2000 ECF, like, it's not easy to be a 2000 ECF. Um, yeah, so I think like you need to put more work. It's like when I say like the first 20 minutes of this video is like going to give you the answer, and then you say you can't be bothered to watch it. I mean, yeah, I know this is just some random thing that's like nothing to do with training, but it's like that attitude of not being bothered. It's like that's gonna cap you. Like that's literally just gonna cap you. You'll get a certain amount of the way, and then you'll get capped. So you need to be able to put in effort. If you don't want to put in effort, then don't play chess. Like, or you can play, but just play for fun. Don't have ambitions of getting into the English Chess Championships if you're not going to put in the effort. So you need to basically be able to put in effort. It's like a prerequisite, I think. Okay, Frizz reckons he's got an answer. So rook d3, queen a1, king g2, queen h1, king g3, queen g2, king f4. Rook f8 is mate? Ain't no way. What? Queen h1, king g3, queen g2, king f4. Nah, rook f8 versus king e3 or king e5. I'm not going crazy, am I? Rook d3, queen a1, king h2, queen h1, king g3, queen g2, king f4, rook f8, king e3, queen f2. There's a queen still on c2. Is there not? Am I going crazy? Here, and you will lose your queen, my friend. I think there's a queen on c2. So okay, let's queen h1, king g3, queen g2, queen f4. If rook takes d3, queen takes d3. I don't know. No, it wasn't checkmate, yeah. I'm not giving quality answers today. Gotta do that daily work. Daily training. Oh, it's only 1900 ECF? They definitely changed that then, because it used to be 2000. Welcome OSB. How's it going? And okay, you're 1729 to get to 1900 by May. It's possible. I think grinding to 1900 is easier than grinding to 2000, obviously. And I think the difference, I think it's going to be close. I mean, you'd really have to hit some solid form, and you'd also need to convince Wigston to put you on a higher board. Because if you don't play stronger opponents, it's going to be such a grind to get there. Instead of queen f2, it's rook f3. Queen h1, king g3, queen g2, king f4, rook f8 check. If king e3, rook f3 check, I did calculate this, but then there's king d4, and what then? After king d4, Oh, queen takes g4 check. And then if king c3, then we take on d3 and take on e6. If the king goes to c5, then we can take on e6, because if they take on f3, then we take with the bishop. Did everyone get that? Queen check, 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 and takes. Because if takes, then we take. So then we've also got to look at what happens if we give check and they come here. Probably there we've got this check. And when they come here, it's so unbelievably tilting. Maybe rook check, and if king c7, then we take. If they take with the king, no, they can take with the king. We don't even have mate, there's still a rook here. What? This position is so ridiculous. But it's probably good practice to try and do anyway, even though I'm not gonna get these positions. It has to be a check there. We can give check here, and then when the king moves, we can take like this. And then we stay material. Jesus Christ. That's ridiculous. Yeah, I mean, clearly this was a harder puzzle where... Yeah, rook f8 is a really tricky move to see. Rook f3, and then, yeah. And queen g4, yeah, that's the... It's literally better for white unless you find this, right? So, this is winning, and just take on e6. So yeah, this starting position. I mean, rook d3 is like the only move that makes sense. Although, wow, king h8 is actually equal. Wow, I mean, maybe then actually you do need to calculate and see it to the end. Because, I mean, if one of these lines isn't actually working, right, then you might just be simply worse than if you just played king h8 and tried to grovel. So, that's really interesting. Okay, let's do... I mean, the first two we did here didn't count, so let's try and... Why didn't I gain any rating? Bruh. I just did all of that, I didn't even gain any rating, are you kidding me? That's actually a joke. Bruh, why is it just giving a tick mark? That's so stupid. How's that x-ray puzzle? Because I think in the starting position, the rook had an x-ray on the rook on d1. And I think the way that the puzzle went, as opposed to like, with queen h1 check, I think that was x-ray already. Nah, I saw the right reason as well. I mean, I had a feeling that it might go that way. Yeah, too much math physics exams ongoing to play good chess. Yeah, I think with tactics, I mean that is why they say that when you get older, your tactical ability is the first thing to deteriorate, because it's really the one thing that you can really get rusty or get worse in very quickly just from not being as strong. So yeah, stuff like positional and I don't know, experience, this only builds up, right? So yeah. Lucas asked, can 1900 provisional play in the English Championships? That's a good question. I mean, I didn't even realize it was 1900. I thought it was 2000. So I really don't know. Probably it's outlined on the website though, so you can check it out. Also, Lucas, how did I was meaning to get in touch? How did the call with Chessable go? Did you have that? I mean, if you don't want to discuss it publicly, you can DM me and we'll chat. But yeah, definitely update me how that went. But okay, in this position, let's think, and let's make this the last one as well. Like clearly, as you can tell from like the first 20 minutes of the stream, I had a terrible night, so I need to get some good rest and start fresh tomorrow. So okay, let's think. So we got queen, two rooks, and a bishop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're 2 pawns up. White to play. We're not 2 pawns up. We're a whole bishop down, for God's sake. So bishop for 2 pawns. So we're 1 point down. We've got this passed c pawn, which is maybe a bit stronger. We've got a 3v2 majority on the king side. There's a rook attacking our queen. Our rook is attacking their queen. So yeah, so basically we can't just rely on a trade, right? If we take on c7, they take on e6, we're not doing so well. So let's take our candidate moves. I'd say my job in this position is to gain material. That's my job. So what candidate moves do we have? Queen takes f6, should be checked. Queen e7, I think looks promising. Any of the checks look promising? I really don't think so. Any other moves? I mean, our queen is being attacked. What can we do? I guess we can always like retreat like queen d5. Like maybe if the c7 pawn is like super strong, it can be worth doing. Like if black has to sack their bishop for the pawn, then we'll be a pawn up kind of deal. So okay, let's look at these first. Queen e7, queen d5, as well as queen takes f6. So queen f6 first. If queen f6 and they just take back, then we can... Well, how do they take back? Queen takes f6. If bishop takes f6, we take on c7. We're happy. Queen takes f6. Pawn takes f6. If rook takes c7, bishop takes c7. And we're not so happy. So what does that leave us with? So if we play queen e7 in the starting position, we are threatening mate as well as the queen. If they defend for mate, so rook g8 or rook g6, we can just take the queen. Queen e7 is also bishop takes h2, but probably we can just play king h1 and we're fine. Queen e7, they cannot save the queen and save mate. So it really makes me feel like this could be strong. Any other move that I might be missing here? I mean, if queen e7 and they play a move like rook e6 or something that defends mate and also attacks our queen, well then we could always just take the rook and we still have a threat on the queen. We have an exchange up and 2 pawns looking real good. Queen e7 looks to be the move. I'm just looking at any final checks, any final ideas. Let's lock in. That's a move, which I did not consider, but I think taking this should be enough, and thankfully I'm defending this. I mean, definitely a candidate move I should have considered, but luckily, no problemo. Nice. Okay, good stuff. And we got a little rating as well for that. Oh, so another mistake from Frizz. This is crazy. The physics and maths papers are really having their effect. They said there's only a little part of the course that is similar, so it's fine, fantastic. And the big question is, did you manage to get a contract signed with Chessable? This is the biggest thing. Ferno asks, have you got any opinions on chess tempo for tactics? I mean, a lot of like the kind of like old school chess players who grew up in my time, they really vouch for chess tempo, and they really believe that like the quality of like the tactics offered on the website is better than like lead chess and stuff. For me, because I hate tactics so much, it's even more of a like disincentive. What's the opposite of incentive? decentive? That's not a word. Anyway, let's roll with it. Like, it's a decentive for me to specifically go to another website just for tactics. I mean, at least on Lichess, I'm already here every day, so it's a bit easier to encourage me to just do some tactics. But no, in terms of the quality, if you can get into it, I think it's really good. And I think all of the different modes that you can do probably are useful depending on what ambitions you have. So I think do it. I mean, it's free, right? Chess Tempo is free, so do it. Yeah, for instance, it's good. Exactly, definitely good. From drawing 3000s to missing Lichess 2500 tactics. Exactly. Yeah, Tricky, I'm ignoring all your personal questions. We'll stick to chess. Disincentive? Is that really a word? My disincentive. Damn, that doesn't sound right either. Lucas, you're busy checking the lines in the call and you forgot to talk about the contract. Lucas, email them right this instance before they forget about you and take weeks to respond. You have to get it signed. I'm not kidding here. Like, if you spend another second on this project and you don't have a contract signed, like, you only have yourself to blame at this point. If your course doesn't go through, you only have yourself to blame. So please get that done. Jose offers some insight. This summer I finally got over 2000. Chess Tempo helped a lot. Fantastic. Yeah. I mean, this is actually like a real cap for many players is like their tactical ability, and just fixing that can help a lot. I mean, I've been finding this as well for my chess as well. So yeah, I'm going to keep up my puzzle rush every day. I'm going to keep doing my tactics. I'm going to keep analyzing my blitz games. And if you are a chess student of mine, you are in for a treat for this analysis of this like bishop end game that I had. I think it's super interesting and super instructive. So that would be cool as well. So yeah, thank you guys for tuning in, and also thanks to our newcomer Victor who became a YouTube member. So we've now got Josh and Victor as YouTube members. Appreciate the support, and yeah, thanks for tuning in. So see you guys in the stream on Wednesday. Okay, adios, bye.